which is not to say it can't go wrong. Hopefully, but I think it'll probably go right, and it'll be a future that you love.
One model has been discontinued. A new vehicle has arrived at Giga Texas, and Elon Musk has confirmed that a special model is about to launch. Yeah, Tesla's so-called Model 2, the nearly $25,000 car, will no longer be produced. It's being canceled because it wouldn't be profitable for Tesla, even though demand for it was quite strong. The Model 2 was once expected to be a mass-market vehicle, offering around 250 miles of range, featuring a minimalist design, and sharing a platform with the robotaxi. We're pretty disappointed, since it seemed like this car might launch this year. But maybe we should shift our attention to something even more interesting. So, what vehicle will replace the Model 2? And more importantly, will Tesla continue making affordable cars in the future? We're not entirely sure, but this is something that's about to unfold. Recently, a new vehicle frame was spotted at Giga Texas. Many people assumed it belonged to the Model 2, but we should point out that it's not the Model 2. It's a new vehicle, but not the Model 2. We'll explain more about that later. Even more exciting. Elon Musk confirmed on X something way cooler than a minivan is coming. So what could this vehicle be? We'll get to that shortly. But first, we need to better understand the Tesla Model 2. So how did the Model 2 come about, and how did it end up getting canceled? Okay, to be honest, Elon Musk has often promised more than he delivers, and people don't trust Tesla's CEO the way they used to. But strangely enough, for years, the EV market has been obsessed with one promise, a $25,000 Tesla, commonly referred to as the Model 2, that would completely change the game. The huge expectations around this car largely come from the way Elon Musk revealed and talked about it. At the time, Elon Musk said the Model 2 was the logical next step in Tesla's long-term plan, starting with expensive vehicles like the Roadster, then gradually lowering costs through the Model S and Model X, followed by the Model 3 and Model Y, before eventually reaching a truly mass-market car priced at around $25,000. Clearly, the prices were trending downward. Right. So people genuinely believed that the Model 2 would be the next affordable model after the Model 3, without much doubt. Of course. What made the Model 2 special wasn't just its expected price. It was also where it fit in Tesla's overall development story. After the massive success of the Model 3 and Model Y, two vehicles that helped Tesla expand its global market share, the next step seemed obvious: a smaller, cheaper car that would inherit technology from its predecessors. That logic made perfect sense to many people. And the fact that Tesla still didn't have a hatchback only added to the excitement around the Model 2. Then, the Model 2 started leaking in different ways. Early images from Tesla suggested a compact hatchback with short front and rear overhangs, while some fan-made renders imagined it as a futuristic mini crossover. The Model 2 almost became a phenomenon. People didn't just talk about it, they built expectations around it, and even planned to buy one despite there being no official release date. In 2025, reports suggested that the Model 2 and the Cybercab were designed to be nearly identical and would share the same unboxed process production line. Essentially, the Model 2 would be a standard car with a steering wheel, pedals, and 4 seats. And by simply removing those components, it would become a Cybercab. Tesla planned to produce both in parallel and prioritize whichever one proved more profitable. Some people even said they would wait for the Model 2 instead of buying another car, which shows just how influential this product had become. That's extremely rare in the auto industry, where consumers typically make decisions based on vehicles that already exist, not ones that haven't even been released yet. However, this level of expectation also puts significant pressure on Tesla. When a product is hyped up before it even launches, reality can easily disappoint if it doesn't meet those expectations. A clear example is the Model Y Standard, which launched late last year and was heavily criticized for cutting many features and design elements while not being truly affordable. This made the Model 2 a double-edged sword, both an opportunity and a risk. But by 2026, the Model 2 had reportedly been completely removed from Tesla's launch plans. So what was the reason? It ultimately comes down to profitability. As we mentioned earlier, yeah, a $25,000 car sounds great for consumers, but it's an extremely difficult challenge for manufacturers, especially for Tesla. The profit margin on a car like that would be very low, especially since Tesla still wants to maintain high standards in technology and quality. Building a high-priced car with advanced tech is relatively easy, but delivering that same technology at a much lower cost is a completely different challenge. That's why the price gap between the Model 3 and Model Y isn't very large. It's no coincidence that the Model 2 was delayed for years. Fundamentally, it couldn't be launched while existing models like the Model 3 and Model Y were still generating stable profits and selling extremely well worldwide. The Model 3 was once the best-selling electric vehicle in the world, and then the Model Y surpassed it, even overtaking the Toyota Corolla to become the best-selling car globally. Tesla continues to make solid profits on each vehicle sold, something many traditional automakers struggle to achieve. If Elon Musk were to release the Model 2, sales of the Model 3 and Model Y would almost certainly decline, while the profit per vehicle would be significantly lower. So what did Elon Musk actually do instead of producing the Model 2 on the same production line? Elon Musk scrapped the project and shifted all current focus at Giga Texas to the Cybercab. Unlike the Model 2, the Cybercab isn't aimed at individual buyers. It's part of a robotaxi network, a business model with far greater profit potential. A car in this system isn't just sold once, it can generate continuous revenue for years. This key difference is what made the Model 2 far less attractive from a strategic standpoint. If Tesla has to choose between a low-margin product and an entirely new business model with massive upside, the decision is pretty obvious. The Model 2 didn't fail, it was simply overtaken by a bigger idea. Let's put the Model 2 aside for a second. There's something way more interesting going on. A newly spotted vehicle body at Giga Texas is getting a lot of attention, because it looks like Tesla might already have a new model lined up for launch in the US. Specifically, images taken at Giga Texas show a fully wrapped car body, covered in plastic and packed inside a wooden crate, sitting right in the middle of a construction area. At first glance, it looks like an unfinished frame, the kind of body in white you typically see during early production testing. But what really caught people's attention isn't the wrapping, it's the proportions. Compared to the standard Model Y currently sold in the US, this body looks noticeably longer. The rear doors stretch further past the wheel arch, and the rear glass seems more continuous, extending all the way to the spoiler. When experts and online users started comparing it with known specs, they quickly came to one conclusion: this could very well be the Model YL, the long wheelbase version that's already been introduced in China. Now, the Model YL isn't exactly new. In Asian markets, it's already been rolled out to meet the needs of larger families, offering 6- or 7-seat configurations, more interior space, and greater flexibility. With an overall length of about 16.34 feet and a wheelbase of over 9.84 feet, it's significantly bigger than the standard Model Y. But more importantly, it actually solves a real-world need, something the Model 2 might not necessarily do. If you step back and look at the problem Tesla is trying to solve, this move actually makes a lot of sense. The Model 2 has been hyped as the affordable car for everyone. But in reality, the market is showing that price isn't the only thing people care about. What they really want is space, features, and flexibility for everyday family use. And in that context, a smaller, cheaper car might not be as appealing as something just a bit bigger that better fits daily life. That's exactly where the Model YL comes in, almost like an indirect replacement for the Model 2. Instead of pushing the price down as far as possible, Tesla is focusing on increasing overall value. The Model YL might not be cheaper, but it gives you more extra seating, more cargo space, and a layout that's far more family-friendly, especially in the US. Another big factor here is manufacturing efficiency. Building the Model 2 from scratch would require an entirely new production line. While the Model YL can reuse almost all of the existing Model Y platform, that alone could save Tesla billions in capital investment and significantly shorten time to market. And with Tesla's new unboxed manufacturing process in development, scaling a long wheelbase version becomes even easier. On top of that, bringing Model YL production to the US has clear strategic value. If Tesla eventually phases out the Model X, a larger but much more expensive SUV, the Model YL becomes a much more practical alternative. It fills the gap between the standard Model Y and bigger vehicles, while staying far more accessible price-wise than the Model X. And while the Model YL could be heading to North America soon, Elon Musk just dropped another cryptic hint that's got the tech world buzzing again. When asked whether Tesla would build a minivan, he responded, "Something way cooler than a minivan is coming." That one short line instantly sparked a wave of speculation. And at the center of it all, the idea that Tesla is preparing to launch an entirely new vehicle, a CyberSUV. Looking at the bigger picture, that actually tracks. For years, customers have been asking Tesla for a true full-size SUV, something bigger than the Model Y, more practical than the Model X, and capable of going head-to-head with heavy hitters like the Cadillac Escalade IQ or the Kia EV9. Tesla may have partially answered that demand with the Model YL, But it's clearly not the final word, especially in North America, where full-size SUVs are basically the standard. And that's why the idea of a CyberSUV feels like the most convincing next step, especially since Tesla has previously teased something along those lines. Yeah, the idea of a CyberSUV isn't new at all. Ever since the Cybertruck was unveiled back in 2019, people have been speculating that Tesla would eventually turn that design into a three-row SUV. At its core, the formula is pretty simple. Keep the Cybertruck's platform and tech, ditch the pickup bed, extend the cabin, and turn it into a family SUV. But what really makes this idea compelling isn't just the design, it's the strategy behind it. The Cybertruck, for all the hype, has been a pretty controversial product. The ultra-angular design is just too bold for a lot of people, and the real-world pricing ended up being much higher than what many were expecting. When Elon Musk originally talked about a $40,000 price point, millions of people were ready to jump in. But when the production version came out at a much higher price, a lot of customers felt let down. As a result, sales haven't really lived up to expectations, sitting at only tens of thousands of units per year, far below the original targets. That's why a CyberSUV could be seen as a second chance for Tesla to capitalize on the Cybertruck platform, but in a way that's more practical and accessible. What's interesting is that the hints about a CyberSUV aren't just coming from statements. In the Master Plan Part 4 video late last year, Tesla either intentionally or accidentally revealed a pretty intriguing detail. In the background of one scene, you can spot at least 3 small-scale vehicle models. One of those models actually looks like a large SUV with a Cybertruck-style design. And for a company as secretive as Tesla, something like that showing up on screen is almost definitely an intentional teaser. If a CyberSUV is really in development, there's a good chance it'll share the same platform as the Tesla Cybertruck. That means it could come with a 48-volt electrical system, steer-by-wire technology, adaptive suspension, and a large battery pack. But to bring costs down, the biggest change would probably be the materials. Tesla may skip the stainless steel exoskeleton used on the Cybertruck, which is a big reason why it's so expensive and difficult to manufacture. Instead, a CyberSUV could go back to aluminum or more traditional materials, making production simpler and significantly cheaper. If this thing actually launches, we're probably looking at a starting price around $69,990, maybe lower. That would put it in a super competitive spot, right up against other three-row electric SUVs like the Kia EV9 or the Rivian R1S. Performance-wise, it could even outperform the Cybertruck in some ways, since it'd likely be smaller and lighter but still use a similar battery pack. Range could reach up to 400 miles EPA, which is seriously impressive. That makes it a great option for families and long road trips alike. Another key factor here is production capacity. Right now, the Cybertruck line at Giga Texas is designed to produce about 150,000 units a year, but it's only running at around 50,000. That leaves a pretty big gap, one that Tesla could easily fill with a CyberSUV. Instead of building a whole new factory, they can just leverage existing infrastructure, which is a huge win from a cost efficiency standpoint. If you zoom out a bit, you'll see that the CyberSUV isn't just another new product, it's part of a much bigger strategy from Tesla. With the Model 2 no longer moving forward as a standalone vehicle, Tesla needs something else to keep sales growing while it waits for the robotaxi future to fully take shape. The Model YL covers the mid-size family segment, while the CyberSUV would target the full-size SUV market, a space where Tesla still doesn't have a truly strong contender. Of course, there's still a big question: does the Cybertruck design actually work for an SUV? We think it does, but only with some serious refinement. If Tesla softens the edges a bit, tones down the extreme angular look, and reworks the proportions, a CyberSUV could end up being way more appealing than the Tesla Cybertruck. Honestly, just removing the truck bed and replacing it with a fully enclosed three-row cabin already makes the overall design feel more balanced and practical. At the same time, Tesla is officially closing one of the most important chapters in its history. The company has confirmed plans to stop production of the Tesla Model S and Tesla Model X by 2026. This became concrete when Tesla's South Korea division announced that March 31st, 2026 will be the final deadline for new orders of both models. After that, Tesla will only sell remaining inventory. This is the first time the company has put a clear global timeline on phasing out 2 vehicles that were once iconic, and it really does mark the end of an era. The Model S and Model X weren't just products, they were foundational in establishing Tesla as a leader in the EV space. Model S proved that electric cars could compete directly with luxury sedans, while Model X, with its distinctive falcon wing doors, carved out a unique identity of its own. But the market has changed a lot. Demand has shifted toward more affordable models like the Tesla Model 3 and Tesla Model Y, while the premium EV segment has become increasingly crowded with new competitors. Yeah, you know. In 2025, Model S and Model X made up only about 3% of Tesla's total global deliveries, a sharp drop from previous years. Even high-performance versions like the Plaid trims haven't been enough to sustain strong sales. According to Elon Musk, ending production is inevitable. But these models deserve a worthy send-off for everything they've contributed. More importantly, this decision highlights a clear strategic shift. Older production lines will be repurposed for new projects, especially the Tesla Optimus humanoid robot, with an ambitious goal of producing up to 1 million units per year. At the same time, Tesla is doubling down on scalable products like Model 3, Model Y, and future bets like robotaxis and the CyberSUV. Still, for fans, this is a bittersweet moment. Model S and Model X have fulfilled their mission, paving the way for the modern EV era, and now, Tesla is ready to move into its next chapter, where the focus goes beyond just cars and expands into a broader technology ecosystem. That's all for today's update. What do you think about Tesla moving away from a low-cost car and instead focusing on the Model YL and a potential CyberSUV? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.